the Chris and Chris Show. On today's show, VGK falls on Tampa. We'll also talk about the goalie situation. And we will preview the biggest game of the season, the Florida Panthers game. Don't go away.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Wow, little man, that's a good intro right there. Tony better take some lessons from that one. That was intense. You're really excited for that Panthers game. We'll talk about that in our third segment. What's up, everybody? This is the last Chris and Chris show before the Christmas holiday. Just want to thank you guys for checking out this show every Saturday, YouTube exclusive, and also for all the everydayers hanging out with us Monday through Friday. Me and Tony doing Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Make sure to like, subscribe, comments, all that fun things on YouTube, as well as anywhere you get your podcasts. All right, little man, the Golden Knights are in a little bit of a funk right now. They've coughed up some leads, and obviously that has come back to bite their behind recently, as now they've dropped two rough games on the road trip. Second periods are becoming a concern. We're going to focus mainly on the Tampa game. So, Chris, you watched pretty much the whole game, right? I left during the second period to go get us some dinner. What happened in that second period, buddy? What did you see in that second period?
Well, that last goal, the first shot they took, I thought it was clearly in. I thought Patera could do nothing about it. Did it go off the top post or something? And I don't know what.
Oh, I know you're talking about, yeah, dude. So you're talking about, I forgot which players scored it. There was a lot of players that scored goals against the Golden Knights last night, but you're talking about the shot that hit off like the corner, almost where the post and the crossbar meet. It took a really strange bounce. And Patera kind of looked like a fish out of water trying to make the save on the rebound, but no, it was a good shot. It could have been in, honestly, but obviously it wasn't, or it would have been reviewed. But you know, the troublesome spot there is Patera had a hard time tracking it after the fact. So that's the unfortunate side, but it was a really good shot.
Yeah. Did he lose his stick for that shot?
Yeah. So you're going back to a different goal. The first goal that Kucherov scored. So the Golden Knights are on the 5-on-3 penalty kill, unfortunately. Tampa has the best home power play in the NHL. Bad spot for the Golden Knights. Shot comes from the top of the circle, and Patera makes the save, but I think the momentum from the shot might have knocked the stick out of his hand. Zach Whitecloud tried to get Patera his stick. Patera couldn't grab it. He was focused on getting set for the shot. And then, I mean, the shot that the Tampa Bay Lightning scored on, no one's saving that shot. It was such a good shot. And even with the stick, Patera is not making that save right there. But the concern, buddy, is that the Golden Knights on Tuesday played the Carolina Hurricanes. Do you remember what the score in the second period was in the Carolina Hurricanes game?
Yeah.
Carolina outscored Vegas 3-0. How many goals did Tampa score last night against the Golden Knights in the second period?
4. I know that second period situation is starting again, and let's hope it's a repeat of last season. We can get better as it progresses.
We need the return of the immaculate second period. So I asked Coach Cassidy about this. I don't know if it was preseason or it was during the preseason. It was more of a general question about the second period. So Golden Knights in the middle third of the season last year were bad in the second period. Call it what it is. But after the All-Star break, they were amazing in the second period. So I used the word immaculate when I asked Coach Cassidy about it, and he liked it. And me and Cassidy, every, I don't know, 3 or 4 press conferences, he likes to throw immaculate back at me, and we have a fun exchange about it. But we need the return of the immaculate second period. Now, let's break down the game, Chris, outside of the second period. Okay, the second period sucked. Call it what it is. Bad special teams, bad everything. The game almost got away. I say almost got away because the Golden Knights had a comeback, right? But let's start in the first period. First goal of the game scored by none other than Jonathan Marchessault. You get some good puck movement. Marchessault finds a soft spot. I think it was Paul Cotter that actually deflected, looked like he deflected a shot directly to Marchessault, who was sitting there in the right spot and ready for, Marchessault from Connor McNabb. And then the second goal of the game, this is obviously really nice. Barbashev from Stone, and they added a Jack Eichel assist, which extended his current point streak to 12 games. So Golden Knights score 2 opportunistic goals by having players in the right spot. Chris, when you're playing forward, where is the right spot on the ice to be?
The money zone.
Where's the money zone?
Like right outside the blue crease for the goalie. So when you get a pass, you can easily get a shot because no goalie ain't gonna save. No 10U goalie ain't gonna save that.
Well, NHL goalies aren't going to save it either, as we saw last night. But last question: why do we call it the money zone?
Because that's where you score your goals and make money.
There you go. So Marchessault and Barbashev in the money zone. Get a couple good goals. Golden Knights got a 2-goal lead. Jack Eichel described it as, a great situation. Let's see exactly what Eichel said. I had it here and I lost it. Jack Eichel said, just let the second period get away from us, but can't draw up a better lead to come into the locker room up 2-0. Second period, goals by Barry Boulay, Kucherov, Braden Point gets 2, and the Golden Knights are now looking at a 4-2 deficit. But turning points of the game, Nikita Kucherov, he felt that he was slashed or hooked, impeded in some way on a breakaway. I believe it was Nick Hague that sold out to disrupt the shot. Looked like a clean play, but obviously we're rooting for the home team, so we might have a different perspective on that. But where things went from bad to worse is Kucherov starts chirping the referee and barking and probably saying a lot of things that would get you or any of the other kids watching this show grounded for a long period of time, because you never talk to the referees like that. Important thing, respect the referees, respect the job that they do. Doesn't matter if it's a 10U house league, 8U house league, or NHL, or anything in between. Kucherov was very disrespectful, said something probably incredibly inappropriate, or the ref just got sick of his moaning and groaning, but either way, it got Kucherov in the box. The cameras got John Cooper, the Tampa Bay Lightning coach, yelling at the refs and mad about the call. At that point, Chris, I put out there, I said, this is the Golden Knights' chance. The Tampa Bay Lightning are completely unwound right now. They have lost their composure. And what happens? Marchessault scores on a great power play goal, a great tic-tac-toe goal. But, Chris, I want to talk about the Paul Cotter goal. You and I got excited. That was the last goal that the Golden Knights scored. What did you see on that goal?
Just great passing, great positioning, and also that power play helped. And of course, like you said, they're unwound and they're just finding ways to keep the puck out of the net. So that was a great goal, and I still think that goal should have made overtime.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But back to the goal itself. What I liked about it, and that was one of the most exciting goals of the season for me. I talked about this on yesterday's show, on Friday's show. I watch a lot of games, and obviously when I'm at T-Mobile, unless I'm in the seats with you, I'm not really reacting to the goals or anything like that, just kind of how it goes in the press world. When I'm at home with you, though, I get excited for goals. I clap, I cheer. I'm still a fan of the team. I definitely have no problem saying that. But that goal last night just got a reaction out of me. The fourth goal, the Paul Cotter goal. Golden Knights sustained pressure for a long time. And, Chris, there's one thing I say to you all the time when the Golden Knights have pressure for a long time? What is that? Do you remember?
We're going to either get a power play or a goal.
And did I say that to you right before the goal happened?
Yeah. And
there
also
you
the
go.
Silver Night game. And also at the Silver Night game on Thursday.
And it happened, right?
Yep.
Like there's just a feeling you get when you're watching a team move the puck around, when the other team is chasing, playing from their heels, whatever terminology you want to throw out there. And we certainly saw that on display. And so, yeah, that Paul Cotter goal wasn't even a great goal, like the shot itself, but it was just the culmination of hard work and climbing the hill. And it gave the team momentum, right? I mean, this looked like it was going to be another blowout situation. Golden Knights could have rolled over and died in the third period. We don't want that to happen, but reality is it could have happened. And the Golden Knights will take some motivation, if you will, some positivity into Florida. But that last goal of the game by Nick Paul to give the Tampa Bay Lightning the victory with just over a minute to play. What do you remember about that last goal of the game? Besides the fact that it sucked.
There was absolutely nothing Patera could do about that. Hill, maybe. Thompson, probably not. And
see, I disagree. I think Thompson actually makes that save. I'll tell you why, but keep going.
If Hill can make that stick save, he definitely can make that save.
All right, so let's talk about a couple things on that last goal. Patera put the puck where you're supposed to. He put it out of harm. He put it away from the middle of the ice. He deflected it to the boards. Did Patera not track the puck well enough? Maybe. Did Nick Paul just make a brilliant shot, just throwing the puck at the net and hoping? Did he get a little bit lucky? Probably. Adin Hill has the ability to get left and right or right and left probably a little bit faster than Patera. Obviously, Patera's the third goalie for a reason. He's only played 200 minutes of NHL action prior to this game. So that's 3 games in one period. So he's got some learning to do, which is fair. I think Logan Thompson has a better chance to make that save because Logan, I've tweeted this so many times, Logan sells out better than probably any goalie in the NHL. Just the way he throws his complete body at the empty area of the net when it looks like the walls are caving in, when it looks like a sure goal is coming. And we're not knocking Patera. We are not knocking Yuri Patera at all. He played a good enough game. He didn't play a great game, but he played a good enough game when you look at the circumstances and everything. So you said, Chris, and I talked to Tony about this. We'll put a bow on this segment here. The concern for me is I saw Bruce Cassidy say that he felt the team might have deserved a better fate after the way the game went, deserved to walk away with a point. I don't agree with that. The Golden Knights need to string 60 minutes of good hockey together, not 2 periods and then let the wheels come completely off. So with all due disrespect, the Golden Knights got exactly what they deserved last night. They got no points. Yes, they worked hard to climb the hill to get back in the game. It was so much fun to watch, but Golden Knights got what they deserve at the NHL if you cannot play a 60-minute game. Anything else from you, Chris, about the Tampa game?
I think we should have deserved to win that game. That's what I think. We should have won that
I'll
game.
beat you in the middle. It would have been nice to see him at least get the game to overtime. I'll give you that all day. It's all good. All right. We are going to talk about the goalie situation, Chris. Chris, this is Chris's topic. Chris was the one who suggested we take a deeper dive into the goalie situation right now. So, Chris, you start. Start the segment off. I'll follow your lead. Me and Tony do this all the time. I have no idea what Tony's going to say, and I just run with it. So, what do you got about the goalie situation, Chris? Go ahead.
Well, one, I was at the Enchant season ticket member. I saw Barbashev. I asked. He told me nothing.
Chris, yeah. So, Chris, okay. So, yes, we still have our season tickets in the family. We did go to the season ticket events. Chris corners Ivan Barbashev. He cornered him. So Chris and Allie take a picture with Barbashev and Pavel Dorofeev. I asked Dorofeev how his teeth were doing, got a chuckle out of him. But Barbashev, Chris is like, "What's up with Adin Hill?" And Barbashev says it's like a secret or something like that. And Chris is like, I do locked on VGK. I need to know, or something like that. So Chris took a shot, didn't get much of an answer, and unfortunately, it looks like that situation's gone from bad to worse. But what else you got about the goalies, Chris? Anything else, or you want me to take it over? What do you got?
How many goalies did we use last season? What are the 5 goalies?
112.
Okay, what were the 5?
We used 5. The Golden Knights used 5 goalies last season. Logan, Adin, Quick, Brossoit, Patera.
Yeah, one after Ottawa, I was watching the emergency goalies. No,
Yeah,
Patera, be careful while you're playing soccer.
Oh, be careful. Yeah, okay. See, this is good. So Chris just said, Patera, be careful when you're playing soccer. So he's referencing the Scott Foster Chicago Blackhawks situation. The first goalie gets hurt playing sewer ball, playing soccer pregame. Second goalie gets hurt in the third period. Here comes Scott Foster down the tunnel and saves the day for the Chicago Blackhawks, who defeated the Winnipeg Jets 6-2, 3 or 4 seasons ago, however long that's been. But we almost had the emergency goalie situation Sunday against the Ottawa Senators. We thought it was going to happen. You're never hoping to see the emergency goalie because that means something terrible has happened to both of your team's goalies. But in the back of your mind, you're always wondering how exciting it would be to either see one of these 3 things involving the goalies, right? A goalie fight, a goalie goal, or an emergency goalie. One of those 3 things would be really cool to see, but the e-bug emergency goalie situation, you really don't want to see that.
I want Scott Foster to be our emergency goalie.
I want to find out who our emergency goalie is. That's also a big secret. Well, we won't find out unless it actually happens. I don't know if it's a Golden Knights rule or an NHL media rule, but either way, that's something we'll never know unless it actually comes to fruition.
That's why I'm asking Barbashev next time I see him.
There you go.
I want Scott. Who's the emergency goalie? I want Scott Foster.
Honestly, Chris, I don't know if Bruce Cassidy even knows who the emergency goalie is. And I'm not even joking when I say that. Not even joking
Scott
when
Foster?
I say that. It's not Scott Foster. He's in Chicago doing his accounting stuff. All right, so it's not David Ayers either from Toronto. All right, so just with the goalies, here's the latest right now. Here's all that we know. Adin Hill was placed on IR. Not LTIR, not yet at least, but IR. So the soonest we can possibly see Adin Hill back is next week against Anaheim or the Los Angeles Kings. Hopefully, this is a situation where Adin will be back short term. Based on what happened with Logan Thompson last year, I don't know if this is going to be that fortunate of a situation for the Golden Knights. We know Logan Thompson is day-to-day. What that really means, good question. It was not addressed, unfortunately, by the Golden Knights media. I guess we'll say it like that. By the Golden Knights media prior to yesterday's game. Next media availability won't come until after, I believe, Friday's game against the Panthers, or Saturday's game against the Panthers, because the Golden Knights have an early game. There won't be a pregame skate. And honestly, you're not going to find out much then. It may take until Thursday for anyone to get an update about what's going on with the VGK goalie situation. Last question about the goalies, Chris, and we'll go on to Florida. Last question. Will we see Isaiah Seville in net on Saturday? What do you think?
If anything, I'd like to see Adin Hill in net to make one of those outstanding stick saves.
Not going to happen. Adin's not available. Not available. It's not going to be Adin Hill making that stick save.
Okay, I want to see Patera make that stick save.
Okay, so are you answering the question? Do you think Patera is the goalie on Saturday or Isaiah Seville?
Patera.
You're probably right, Chris. Now, the only reason I think it could be Seville, I think it depends on what the outlook is for for Logan and for Adin. If Logan Thompson and Adin Hill are projected to be out long term, I really think Isaiah Seville gets the start on Saturday. I think the Golden Knights need to find out where they are with both of their goalies not named Adin Hill and Logan Thompson. General Manager Kelly McCrimmon expressed he was comfortable, expressed that Yuri Patera painted a good enough picture to get an idea of where his game is at when I asked Kelly McCrimmon about this in the preseason. Now, it took until game 54 or 55 for the goalies to get hurt last year. This year, it took until game 34 to lose the Golden Knights' number 1 and number 2 goalies. We're going to find out if Kelly McCrimmon stands by his statement about the third goalie, Yuri Patera, being available to carry the mail for a long period of time. If Patera has a rough game against the Panthers or his next outing is rough, you might see something happen. It wouldn't surprise me if McCrimmon is already working the phones, possibly kicking tires about potential available veteran goalies, either rostered or not rostered right now. McCrimmon's smart. He's built a Stanley Cup winning roster, a Stanley Cup contending roster for 5 of 6 years with the Golden Knights, even all 6 years, if you want to argue season 5 with all the injuries that the team went through. So McCrimmon's going to have this team in the right spot. And if Patera is not the person to get the Golden Knights through this lull, he'll find someone. But we're going to find out if Patera is the man first. All right, goalies, done. Tampa, done. We have a rematch of the 2022-2023 Stanley Cup Final. We don't need to talk much about the Florida Panthers, about how their season's going. It's going a lot like last season, kind of a playoff bubble type team. Not a team you'd expect to see in the Stanley Cup Final, but they got there last year. So, Chris, what are your expectations for the Stanley Cup Final rematch later today, Saturday, but we're recording on Friday, but we got to say today, just trust me.
I did not understand a thing.
What are your expectations for the hockey game, for the Panthers, Golden Knights, Stanley Cup rematch? That's all I need to know. What's going to happen? This is the part where you answer the question, by the way.
I can't think of anything. You take over.
Okay, fine. So you'll jump on this, Chris. So, all right, I'm going to take you down the path, Chris, okay? Do you remember some of the early moments from game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, how physical it was? How much after every whistle the teams were getting together and had to be separated, fights, craziness. Do you remember all that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the Florida Panthers are mad at the Golden Knights for taking their Stanley Cup from them?
But they'll get at least one unsportsmanlike conduct or whatever it's called.
Do you think the Florida Panthers want to send a message to the Golden Knights and win this game for their fans?
I definitely think they're going to be playing real hard, very physical game.
There we go.
High scoring, like when we won the Stanley Cup 9-3. So,
are you predicting a 9-3 final on Saturday?
No.
Did you just do that?
No.
But what if it is that? But what if you're right?
Okay, let me blur it out right now. 6-1 Vegas. Done.
Ooh, 6-1 Vegas, done in a physical game. So we've seen this all year, everybody. Every team the Golden Knights play uses the Golden Knights as the measuring stick. They want to see how good they are. They want to see how close they are to possibly becoming a Stanley Cup champion. The first way you measure that is by playing last year's Stanley Cup champion, which is the Vegas Golden Knights. And this is basically the same team. Obviously, no Riley Smith, no Phil Kessel, full season of Ivan Barbashev, and players like Paul Cotter and Pavel Dorofeev being regulars in the lineup, but pretty much the same team from a year-over-year perspective. So every team the Golden Knights play, no, the Golden Knights are a good favorite to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. So they want to beat the Golden Knights for that reason, among many other reasons, now you have the Florida Panthers, last year's Stanley Cup Final runner-up. Golden Knights, I mean, honestly, the Golden Knights really pretty much embarrassed the Panthers 3 out of the 4 games, right? Look at the home game, the 3 home games, the Golden Knights, they crushed them. What were the scores? The first game, I know we had 9-3. It was like the Golden Knights got like 18 or something goals in the 3 home games or something like that. So point being is the Panthers want this game. They want to send a message. You know who's going to be really excited to play in this game?
Who?
Matt Tkachuk.
Oh,
Keegan Colasar knocked Matt Tkachuk out of the Stanley Cup Final with an absolute crushing hit. And now you can add the fact that Matt Tkachuk crushed Jack Eichel. Remember in game 2, Jack Eichel's fallen down. Matt Tkachuk blew him up. It was a clean hit, just like the Colasar hit was. So you got some unfinished business out there. I don't think Jack Eichel's going to be looking for Matt Tkachuk. That's not who he is. Ivan Barbashev, he was crushing players. He knocked Radko Gudas out of a game, basically. Gudas now a member of the Anaheim Ducks. Every other player on that roster, Nick Cousins, if he's still there, he's going to be out there causing trouble. It's going to be a fun game, buddy. It's going to be a fun game. Hopefully the Wi-Fi on the plane works, and we'll catch it later today. What do you think?
Okay.
All right, little buddy. I think that's good. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we put a bow on the show today?
No.
They don't call him the best color man in sports for nothing. Sorry, Chris, you won't understand that. There's a sign. There it is. So I was watching Major League last night. For those of you that caught that, if you didn't catch it, go watch Major League. It's so much fun. All right, put that away. All right. Thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We really do appreciate you guys checking out the Chris and Chris show, YouTube exclusive on Saturdays. We are equally as thankful for you checking out the show Monday through Friday with myself and Tony. Thank you to the everydayers. Thank you to the super everydayers who check this out 6 days a week. Me and Tony have a special show that will be uploaded on Christmas. Tony even has a pretty interesting, something pretty interesting. Don't say it, Chris. I told you earlier, don't say it if you know it. Do not say it. You have to tune in on Monday to check.
I don't know it.
Okay, perfect. You have to tune in Monday to check it out. All right, everybody. Again, thank you from Chris and Little Chris. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Take care.